social economic development. This conference is part of a deliberate national effort by the government of Liberia to strengthen the development of the country's intellectual property ecosystem. As enshrined in Section 7 of the Arrest Journal for Inclusive Development, the integrations of intellectual property into the country development agenda comes as the government of Liberia recognizes the payload of the Arrest Journal honored agriculture, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism directly interacts with intellectual property in Liberia. In agriculture, intellectual property empowers innovators and adds value to our agricultural products, transforming commodity into premium goods with identity and market appeal. This means intellectual property is a key economic tool in strengthening the country agricultural sector while improving revenue base and farmer income. In education, intellectual property frameworks such as copyright and licensing ensure that knowledge is not just shared, but that creators and innovators benefit economically from their work. In doing so, intellectual property supports the Arrest Journal by building a system that economically rewards creativity while promoting social economic development. When it comes to tourism and culture, intellectual property does more than protect Liberia music, craft, tradition, and breaking landscape. It turns these rich cultural expressions into marketable assets that contribute to national branding, create jobs, and fuel social eco-development. Thus, it is clear that across the key pillar of the Arrest Journal honored Pillar 7 intellectual property on sea, fuel growth under this pillar. So as we host this conference, the government of Liberia is elevating the discourse around intellectual property and its role in achieving the Arrest Journal, a bold and visionary plan geared towards inclusive development and improving the lives of all Liberians. This one-day conference will open with a national IP policy address, followed by speeches from government officials and development partners, and a panel discussion on the role of intellectual property in the creative sector in achieving the Arrest Journal under Pillar 7. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the celebrations of the World Intellectual Property Day will culminate in a musical jamboree and IP awareness festival on April 26, 2025 at the Invisible Park. This public event, which will fall under the main days of the observance of Intellectual Property Day, will use music, cultural performances, and educational outreach to amplify the importance of respecting intellectual property rights in Liberia. The awareness-raising event is not symbolic. It is a strategic investment in building public respect for the intellectual property and to embed a culture of respect for creators and innovators in Liberia. Liberia's path towards middle-income status will be determined not only by the exploitation of natural resources, but increasingly by the generation and protection of intangible assets, ideas and branding, technologies, and agricultural and cultural products in Liberia. Intellectual property is that legal infrastructure that unlocks such protection. At LIPO, we are committed to working with all stakeholders to ensure intellectual property becomes a cross-cutting enabling of economy that diversification, legal reform, industrial policy, and trade strategy. On this note, we invite all Liberians to join us in celebrating the 2025 Intellectual Property Day, which will be on the 26th of April 2025, to shaping an IP-driven future in Liberia. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the remark from the DG about the World IP Day. Activities linked to the World IP Day. So we took at least 3 questions to call it for the day. So questions? Yeah, well.
So, April has been very.
Your institution.
Yes, the institution has been very fiscal in the past years. What new enthusiasm will this our celebration bring to this office?
Firstly, the theme of this year is IP and music, feel the beat. This has to do with the copyright sector because we are looking at the artists. And because we have gone through more awareness in the past, and music is part of our, not only the entertainment industry, but in the form of awareness. So that alone is something that we need to celebrate to increase our awareness, not only in whatsoever, because it will be live. You will see people watching us on the 23rd and the 26th. And most importantly, bringing stakeholders together on the 23rd, a conference. You will see different background. You will see lawyers. You will see people from the House of Representatives and the Senate, policy makers. So to discuss the landscape, the ecosystem of intellectual property in Liberia. Not only sitting there to say LIPO is just there to discuss to the public. We want for the public to be involved. That's why we are bringing everybody together to see how we can move and how we can strengthen the IP ecosystem in Liberia.
Yeah. Thank you, DG. I'm Shakespeare Zembo, work for TV Liberia Online and Afro's Media website. I'm concerned about this year's IP Day celebration. You talk about a symposium. Tell us, a conference or a symposium?
Conference.
Okay, that conference is something new that you're breaking out. Tell us, what are those things that you guys are going to outline in that conference that we talked about on Wednesday?
So we'll have a panel discussion to talk about the industry. It's a new thing. Bringing the stakeholders together is the first of its kind. So the policy maker will be talking about policy, people who have knowledge in IP, the lawyers will be talking about the background in terms of law, the experts from IP will be talking about intellectual property in the industry as well, the creative sector, the innovator, they will be on the panel discussion. So you're bringing everybody to the table to bring their ideas and to discuss what they know about intellectual property and how we can move the industry forward.
Okay, yeah, so Cooper Bill and I work for the newspaper. So just a little bit concerning has to do with the issue of artists. Like my colleague says, since you took on this position, there has been massive awareness for your team as it relates to the issue of art rights. I'm a little bit concerned when it comes to artists, how are artists benefiting from your leadership in terms of the protections of their work going into this conference, because I think the issue of awareness is basically for the artists to ensure the protections of their work and the energy they put into the individual and how they benefit. Now that I'm talking about the major conference, and two are day two about this conference, and we expect to see more artists from this occasion, or it's just facilitating just officials of government or this position.
So when WIPO share the team, the World Intellectual Property Organization share the team, music and feel the beats, had a meeting and I told my team, this year's celebration is not about LIPO, it's about the artists. So in fact, I've instructed them to organize this year program. The musician, the movie, all the different unions. I think they got 7 unions. And they have been part of the process. They are part of the planning process. LIPO is just there to do the implementation because we are the institution. So to answer your question, you will see them live, you will see them performing. They are part of this. And the program office will just elaborate a bit. So,
thank you, David. So, to address your first concern regarding the benefits artists have received, we have a system called the Collective Management Organization, which is responsible to collect royalties and pay royalties to members who are musicians, who are movie producers, who are writers, who are into fine arts. They all form part of the creative system that intellectual property covers. So one of the benefits is artists receive royalties that have been paid to them this year. In past time, they have also received capacity building. That is, we've organized a series of learning sessions, workshops with them. And currently we even have artists that are ambassadors of this institution, and they have been driving the awareness processes. Like we saw, we went to the counties, we worked along with musicians there, even though we acknowledge that there are challenges with regards to enforcement of rights. But through the Office of the Director General, we are working with law enforcement organizations or agencies. We are currently in touch with the police to be able to train police at the police academy. We are also working to put in place enforcement mechanism so that we can be able to curtail some of the infringement activities we see around. So these are just some of the activities that we are undertaking. And this year also we are working along with the Musician Union of Liberia. They form part of the planning committee, the movie union, the writers association. I mean, just the collective society, we are working along with them. Also with the Ministry of Information, they are also have been very supportive in our engagements. And so yes, that's one which, as the DG had rightly said, that you will see them being a part of the event on the 23rd and even on the 26th. They are the ones that are leading the celebration at the park.
So I'm Francis Boye, I read for the Front Page Africa newspaper. DG, whatever you say in line with the global RPDA, which is going to be this Wednesday, I haven't heard anything about the venue. Where are you going to host this program?
So thank you so much. The 20th will have the conference at the Morovia City Hall, and the January will be at the farm, the University Farm. So we are inviting the general public come and celebrate with us, because it's not just about LIPO, it's about IP is everywhere. It's in all of the different sectors, in the different industries, so we are encouraging everybody to come and celebrate with us.
Is there an admission to have access to the program?
No, it's not.
So
I also want to do a follow-up before we get to the director of program. So you talk about the issue about enforcement. We have seen over the time the infringement of artists and people who are in the creative sector that are seen to a certain level. How can the public trust your musicians and people in the industry from the collective society? When can they see that enforcement that will be? Because there are a lot of people, you check all around, you see people get a dicks, they get a little Bluetooth, and they're selling people dicks, and the pirating is kind of on a high increase. How soon can that people will not be pirating?
You really took your work to a marketer or retailer, and I'm speaking from reliable information that we gotten from some of the musicians themselves. Some of the works you see that outside, they were not stolen, they were taken there by the artists themselves. But what I'm not aware of the things, not just from the protection aspect that we as the administrative agency we administer, it's also with the collaborative efforts of the other sister organizations that we are making efforts to
in that contract, trust me, not going to get some of the money because you're going to be specified. But most of the artists will do their music and just take it to an institution or even the record label, they will not have that contract. So it's a race. Like for the radio station, even most of you, yeah, you're playing their music, they will come. Rabbi, just play my music. Rabbi is playing your music, but you are not benefiting. So what can you tell the Rabbi, you will play my music, but I have to gain this. Tell the radio station, put it in writing, and we are be educating them. Those are some of the race. They are said to accept that God parrot out there. So carrying your voice is a race. So before you play my music, I'm telling you that, yes, you are playing my music, but I need 20% of what you're playing. I was telling my staff, I said, but most of the radio stations are playing gambling now. They are doing gambling. So you are gambling and playing some other music. The money you're collecting, they should benefit from it. And that's why you see our musicians are all passing around. They're not making money because you guys, all of us, use our music free. We use it free.
And that's why the public is concerned. How soon will they...
So, and that's why we are saying we collaborated with the police. We are waiting for the police, but the artists themselves, they have to acknowledge that when you make your music, you don't have to take it to the institution and say, play for it, play for me. I just want to be going on the market. I just want to be popular. Your popularity, you are getting poor and poor and poor. You are not making money. So before you be popular, get 20%, get 30%, and then that's it.
So ladies and gentlemen, I will take William on now for the last question.
I had a concern actually was an artist on that CEO situation. In less than how many hours contract cancel. Why go this institution?
The first thing we don't even know whether he's a registered artist yet. People just do the music and put it up there because they think they can go on TikTok and build themselves popular. So you should come and register your work first. Then when it comes to infringement, we'll talk about that. But we can't just get into people's thing. Not because we saw an infringement.
An investor. Is there a way that life can be part of
the first thing we should know that particular work is protected. Once the work is protected, then your agreement now will start to look at it. Once it comes to look at a problem. And again, you have a legal, you should have a legal pricing to advise you on some of these things. LIPO is an institution to do protection. We are not legal authority to say we are lawyer. So we can't go into that. That's another thing. So you got to balance it.
So why if an artist wants to
just to hold you, that's the reason the conference on Wednesday will be held, and we will have to dive, deep into some of these cases that is, to be able to guide our artists and other remote. So yeah.
Okay, so gentlemen, thanks for coming. This is how we call the press conference.
We have a t-shirt. Okay. We have a t-shirt that will be a LIPO, people who will be going for the program. The black is for the executive, so we'll do as a black for. So you got 3 different colors. You got it white. I think you can see the team. The team is on the t-shirt. You are seeing this because it's from the Liberia Intellectual Property. Because we don't duplicate. This is what we are using this year. So you will not see different design. Also, no, it's not possible. So this is white.